So I have Word document. Okay. So we're live. That's exciting. So it was posted on the website on Thursday, but there was a little snafu in the actual sending out of the press release because there were some people sick at the city. So anyhow, it got sent out on Friday instead of Thursday, but that's probably okay. The website is updated. I need to have her swap in that 8.5 by 11 poster image just because the one that's up there is the one that had a little weird cropping issue with one of the logos, but whatever, small potatoes. As for adding the web page for like previous year's winners, I chatted with Sarah about that, and she's stoked on the idea, which was pretty fun. But apparently she doesn't have the power to actually create new pages within the city's website platform. She can edit and add to a page, but she can't actually create a new physical page. So we would need LCOG to create a page. We wouldn't necessarily need LCOG to do a lot of formatting on the page because she said she could, put the content on there, but she needs them to actually create the page and how it links into the system. So, and her first was like, oh, LCOG has to do that and it costs a lot of money, but I can't imagine it costs that much money. Yes, Maddie?
I don't know how much it costs, but the museum can cover that.
Okay. Sweet.
Just, well, you loop me in when you figure out how much it is, and then we'll figure out like the best way to do it, whether I get you like the account string or like we'll figure it out. So
okay. Perfect, thank you. Well, we'll find out how much it is first, and then we can discuss. But so I also don't feel like it's a super pressing matter at the moment. Like it'd be cool to get it posted. We could get the process started, I guess, with trying to figure out how much it costs and just getting the blank page created, and then when Sarah has time to like build it, we can have that happen. But if it didn't happen like in the next month, I wouldn't be like crying about it. It could happen anytime, really. So it is cool to showcase the previous ones. So okay, any other thoughts or comments on that before I move on? Okay. Posters, they look great. Christina updated them. They're amazing. They're posted online currently. Again, I need to have that one picture updated slightly, but they're up there. Printing, Christina offered to print some of them. Last year we printed them in-house. I don't know how I don't want to take advantage of Christina's offer. So Tom, what is our capacity for printing at the city and timing and stuff? You're muted.
Not sure as to capacity, but I'm sure we can print some. So I'll figure out if there's a limit. If not, I'll just start printing.
Okay, perfect. And maybe Christina, you can print us a batch sooner, just like a quick batch like that we could start playing with, and then maybe we can get the extras within a week or something from Tom. The other thing, which I didn't actually put on here, as we discussed, we discussed maybe 2 meetings ago, or maybe we discussed it at the Historic Commission meeting. I'm gonna put up a table at the art walk this week at Maddie's, outside of Maddie's shop there, or museum, and table the awards. So I need some printouts for that of posters and nomination forms probably. So Tom, maybe I'll send you an email. Maybe, I'm not gonna need like hundreds of them, but maybe you could at least print me a small batch of each nomination form and some of the posters that I can have there.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Friday's 2 days from now.
do we have a like a social media sized version of the poster? Did that go through email or anywhere at any point?
You could probably just post the 8.5 by 11 one.
That's I'm planning on doing that, and we'll see like how well it works on Instagram. But if it looks funky, then I might just like lump something together that's like us supporting it, that'll be like an Instagram size. So
by Instagram size, you mean square?
Square, or sometimes they, because like I post to the museum's Instagram through the Facebook thing, and a lot of times like it won't allow you to post 8.5 by 11 size stuff like to Instagram, even though like it would probably work.
Mhm.
So like I may want something together that's in like their format.
Okay, because we also have an 11 by 17 version, so that's going to be more like the phone
Mhm.
profile shape, you know, the ratio or whatever.
Yeah,
But
they've made Instagram stupid and annoying and hard to post things to. So
weird. All right.
and I'll get that posted before I'll do that today. And then I can mention like in the post that you'll be at the museum on Friday.
Nice, thank you. And depending on how that formatting ends up playing out, you know, Christina has the actual file that's built. So if you needed to, you might reach out to her for like an editable version if you need it. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so that does lead to the next big topic, I feel like, for this meeting, which is outreach and distribution. So kind of both brainstorming about how and where and who to distribute this through, and then also kind of taking on responsibility for a certain amount of, you know, reaching out to people. So, you know, certainly we can just, between the two committees, right, between the Historic Commission and the Museum Committee, with all of the members on the committee, like we can do some arm twisting to just have everyone there, you know, promote it as much as they're willing, and or do some, you know, outreach. We might need to give them a little direction on what that means, like what are we asking them to do, right? Ideally, I think it's probably, you know, thinking about who would be a good audience or even a good fit for a specific nomination, and then like directly reaching out to them, like not just really generic mass emails, but like really pointed outreach to people, so that it has the maximum impact. And really that goes for all of us as well. So I will say that my capacity right now is a disaster. So as much as other people could take on some of this, I'm losing my mind slightly, and could really use help. Specifically with outreach and kind of like maybe emailing potential jurors and some of this other stuff that's on the to-do list moving forward. So anyway, outreach for now, let's talk about that. So thoughts about who, how, what? Discussion.
I think last year Megan on our museum committee was getting stuff together to do a nomination for the Chiffin Native Youth Center, but didn't have enough time to get, I think it was the letters of recommendation or whatever that were going to take a little bit longer. So she had said then
just one question about Guy Lee. I was just wondering if you know if the ramp from the street into Guy Lee is compliant with ADA, because it's adjacent to a storm drain and it seems steeper to me. And so I was just wondering if we are going to be investing a lot of projects into this park. I wonder if that ramp from the street should be it's a pedestrian ramp, but that's also what we have to use.
Christina, can you mute? Oh, there you go. Yeah. We're hearing a lot about a pedestrian ramp right now.
I know all about that too over here. So
what? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that would be one that she'd probably be willing to circle back around to and do that one, which would be good. And then I know we had talked in our group too, kind of maybe about someone doing one for Carol.
Mhm.
So that would be another good one to make a reminder to folks about.
Who should we reach out to try to put together a nomination for Carol? Like, is there a certain person that we can identify that would be good to be the nominator for that? Like,
I
that's
was
what you.
trying to remember who brought it up at the meeting. I don't remember.
We can bring it up again at the meeting on Tuesday. and
Yeah,
s-
that's
like,
good.
if folks are into that, or like if they have other ideas too.
Or if any of us just know, like, I don't actually, like, Carol was leaving right as I sort of came in. I don't actually know her that well, or like who she, who her posse is. So like, is there somebody that you know that's a good friend or colleague of hers that would probably be a good community member to be the official quote unquote nominator, right? Versus one of our own committee. I just don't know. I don't know her circle of friends.
The other one that I had on my radar was the Calpuya Dictionary, and I don't know, Maddie, if you have a good idea of how to get that nominated. Last year, I talked to Esther briefly and she seemed open to it, and then she told me to call her back at a better time to talk about it, and I never got a hold of her again. So I think it might be easier to draft something like that with somebody else who is maybe more involved, if you have a suggestion.
Trying to think of, the only time I've ever been able to get a hold of her was when I bought the dictionaries and then she dropped them off. I wonder if maybe,
Are
I
there
don't
other
know.
people like, I don't know, even just like one of the directors at the Grand Ronde or somebody who could, nominate it, even if like as a project on her behalf or something.
Mhm.
I don't know who else she worked with on that project.
I guess her granddaughter
Mm.
was very involved with it, but I don't have contact info for her or.
I wonder if Dawn at the Chiffin Native Youth Center has any contacts with them.
DON or DAWN?
DAWN.
Also, I know David Lewis was involved slightly. He might at least be a letter of recommendation. I don't know if he'd be able to help draft it. But that's kind of where I kind of stalled out on that one. I was stuck. The other one I had on my list was the Comunidade Herencia Cultural. And they do like Latin American heritage, kind of cultural heritage work, art and dance, and they're the ones that run the Noche. What is it, Noche Cultural or no Noche?
Mhm. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
I already talked to him about it. He seems very shy. And so I might reach out to his wife and see if I can get them to nominate.
Who is the contact?
It's Antonio Huerta is his name.
And then his wife is Heather Huerta, and she's on the library advisory board.
Oh, great.
Maybe she's, yeah, if she's on the advisory board, then that means she's probably more like outgoing.
Mhm.
Maybe she should check. Mhm. Mhm. Great, those are good suggestions. So those are great suggestions of kind of specific project nomination ideas, right?
That's only like 4, and so if we got 2 of them to fill out an application, we still have a ways to go. So we got to keep thinking of more.
Right, but then what about just, other, like, kind of contacts for outreach and distribution? Like, do we reach out to, you know, a certain organization or group and have them distribute it to their members to make sure that it just gets a really broad reach? And if so, what are those kind of points of contact? Like, some it might just be also just a person who, you know, is like just insanely well connected, you know, also that might be willing to share it.
I can send it to the Daughters of the American Revolution chapter.
Do we know anyone there?
I'm a member, so I'll just send it to the the chapter regent.
What about the, I don't know if anybody would have capacity for this, but going to like the next Rotary meeting
Mm.
and like just doing like a quick and John and Emily are like, John's in charge of the like the projects and stuff, and then Emily, like, you know, they're usually the ones who, like, if the museum is going to do something, they're who I talk to. And then also probably be good to get something in the Chronicle if we can, or like just get somebody from the Chronicle to come over for a quick talk about it.
What about like posting things on like Nextdoor or Reddit or those type of things? And would we want that to come from someone specific, or is it okay if just any of us post on there?
I think it'd be fine if any of us posted it.
Does the city have the, like, well, I don't remember who the main PR person is over there, but does that person have access to Nextdoor, and are you already posting things there? They might be the best person.
I assume that's Amber. He does like most of
Yeah.
the communications, but I have never seen anything on Nextdoor by the city.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I mean, actually, it would probably be, honestly, it would be, not that it's necessarily Washburn focused, but like somebody in the Washburn neighborhood would be a good person to potentially post it on like the Washburn neighborhood next door, right? And
Mhm.
Charlotte actually lives in the Washburn district. I wonder if she's in the app.
So does Mason, so he
Yeah.
could be another one. He's pretty savvy.
And then for Reddit, I don't know. I like have a Reddit account, but like, Stacy, do you use Reddit? Do you have a?
I'm like a lurker, but I don't ever
Yeah.
post stuff. Could probably figure it out.
Mhm. Does anyone else use their Reddit more actively that would want to do this? Yeah. Okay, Stacy, I'm putting it down.
Okay.
Okay. Who wants to talk to the Chronicle?
I would be down, I'd be down to join in with somebody to talk about like the ways the museum are like, you know, is part of this. But I don't know that I have the capacity to like put it together.
Yeah, I can talk. I'll talk with them. I have talked with them recently, and I can just like text the one lady and be like, eh. Yeah. And then the Rotary. Maddie, you just want to like casually chat with Emily about it?
Yeah, I'll ask Emily.
I'll type to you as Maddo. Okay, very good. And then, yeah, so other people, groups. Like, not to be too direct, but how do we reach the Black community in this? Who is a good point of contact there? Like,
I've tried to find connections there and have not been super successful in Springfield, so I don't have contact currently. I know somebody on the NAACP who lives in Springfield, but I don't think that really, I don't know if that's the best route.
We have that, we have our first community stakeholder meeting for this year's illumination on the 15th. And so we could potentially, I can just bring flyers to that. Like, we have a bunch of different stuff that we're going to talk about at that meeting, but it would be like, I mean, it's going to be obviously like community stakeholders, and people are very focused on Black history in this area. Like the Rashids are going to be there, and like just a variety of other people. So I can plan to at least bring posters, like, so that we can like have it as one of the talking points, because we're going to be throwing like a whole bunch of stuff at this group, but I can bring that, and then we might get people interested. And as we continue like that conversation with the stakeholders, there might be folks who'd be interested.
I feel like there's a guy in town, and I think his name is Josh Stroud. Does that ring a bell with anyone? And he had reached out to me like randomly, like kind of, you know, just like bumping into each other on the street kind of thing. And we chatted and ended up striking a rapport and brainstorming a bunch about, like, he was all excited about the idea of trying to like build a Black kind of cultural hub in downtown Springfield. And like, he was, you know, energized, and he seemed cool. And I think he might be neighbors with David Lovell. Because I think he's like in the financial world, and I get random mail for him at my office. It's a whole thing. It's very ancestral, the whole downtown Springfield, like how all these things, you know, overlap. But I feel like he could be a good point of contact, but I don't actually have his contact information. But I'll reach out. I'll figure out how to get it. Excuse me. I'll ask David for his neighbor's phone number, right? That'll work. Oh my God, sorry, my network is breaking. Okay. Other thoughts? What other community groups would be just easy to reach out to? I know that's not the like direct personal email that I was talking about, but like even just to get some more mass distribution. I mean, also would Willamette is, I guess, this something that's worth a Willamette press release? Like,
Willamette could include it in its newsletter. Certainly, it's probably not going to get the section that it ends up getting put in is kind of, you know, like community news stuff, and it's towards the end, so I don't know how much visibility it would get.
it's like a
yeah.
online newsletter, or that.
Yeah, it gets emailed out, so it goes out to like 2,000 plus people.
I mean, that's worthy. That's your task. That's on you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. School district? Is there something that goes to parents or something like that would be appropriate? I don't even know. Anybody know? Who would be a good point contact for that? I mean, I could ask Christina San Filippo. I don't know if she's not, that she's more with the foundation, but I don't know, maybe that was a stretch.
What about the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, because they're also a previous winner.
Right.
Board. I'll reach out to Bonnie on that one. That's easy. Oh, and then we had actually at some point discussed that we could just reach out to the previous winners and have them share it among neighbors, and since they're familiar with it, maybe they even want to nominate someone, like, you know, past whatever the, what is that? Good, whatever. Yes.
Can you remind me when nominations are due?
Forward.
Emily,
Yeah, okay.
when are they due?
Nominations are due June 2nd. Right?
So the next Rotary meeting is today at noon. Emily is in Salem, getting her car worked on, but John is around and she's gonna see if he can bring, he's gonna try and swing by and grab some flyers and talk about it. So hopefully we can make that happen. And if not, we can do the next meeting. Or if there's more interest, we can do the next meeting too.
Is there looks like you're gonna get to this later, but is there a press release kind of information that if we're emailing people and saying, hey, this is coming, we could just have that forwarded below as, or like for William Lane to write it up in their newsletter? It's just general
Yeah.
content.
I mean, there's the one that went out on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw it. Did I get copied on that?
I don't know, it's the one from the city's like.
Oh, okay, I can find it online.
From the city.
Okay.
But we could ask for the link. Yeah, I'm sure there's also a link for it. That was just the, you know, the email that the city, whatever. Notifications. Okay. I guess, is there another way we want to try to reach out specifically to the Washburn community? Other than just the next door. I mean, I'm happy to go do some walking around door to door. It might be a fun group activity this time.
Jenna, do you have that, the press release on hand? Could you just shoot it to me by email really quick? I'm gonna print that out for John.
Easy, I tweeted it too on Twitter.
Oh, nice.
I just put it in the chat, yeah.
Oh, you found it? She's not finding it.
I'm gonna print those flyers really quick for him and then I'll be right back.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was a KETI version. Is there a link that goes to the Springfield website? Is there somewhere on the city's website that lists the press releases?
Oh, the one I just added, it looks like is the old, well, no. It's weird. It's under in the news 2019, but it's the
Okay.
2023 awards.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's good because it has a post date.
They do have. Okay, I'm unmuted. They do have my contact information listed.
Yeah.
And then a link to the page.
Oh, feeling like that June 2nd is real soon. Well, we'll extend it. It's fine.
Is there anything happening at the library? Maybe I can look up their calendar, but
Like that we could put it,
Hmm.
and we should at least post it at the library, right?
right. And I guess I was curious, maybe we should reach out to Maddie, can maybe talk to Mindy too and see, because I know that she's been doing a lot, maybe Maddie's been involved in this, but reaching out to a lot of folks for the illumination exhibit and see who those like points of contact are in Springfield and if there's anybody there.
All right, well, this is a good starting point for a list. The next step is also concurrently, we need to reach out to jury members and get them on board to actually convene. Our schedule tentatively, I don't know if I actually have it in here. Pull up the old minutes. You know, we're trying to basically, you know, we're presenting these awards in September. And so ideally, sometime in June, we would convene the jury, even if it's late June, right? Let's say we extend the deadline a week, even 2 weeks. If we could convene the jury the second half of June, that gives us time to like get the awards fabricated and all that stuff, right? So, we need to think about who we want to reach out for the jury members. I think reaching out to the last year's winners is a really helpful way to populate the jury with community members instead of, you know, just committee members, and then B, get sort of a diverse group. So we have 5 potential jurors out of that. I doubt all of them would be available. So 3 to convene, probably I'd say late June, or maybe early July. We still have wiggle room there. Let's just say early July. Okay. And then we'll need to be clear about what the expectations are when we reach out to them, right? So we need to draft an email. That outlines what the roles, responsibilities, timeline, and options. Meeting options, right?
So are we gonna send out kind of or try to figure out jury members before the nomination period closes? Because my concern with that would again be like, you know, if we want Vonnie, say, to be on the jury, but she's submitting a nomination, then that would be a problem, right?
I mean, we could send out the emails, and in the email, maybe we ask whether they're thinking about submitting a nomination, right? Is anybody willing to tackle drafting this?
Sure, I can help with that. Do we have some emails, I think that went out last time, right?
Yeah,
If I dig through my files, I can use that as a,
I know, right? Yeah, we could do some digging as well. If you can't find anything, let me know and I'll dig around. Okay, so if we have potentially 5 jurors, probably more likely 3 or something out of the 5 would be able to actually participate, right? I think they'll all be excited about the option though. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, no, I don't want to do that, right? So let's say 3 of them can. And then we have the mayor, right? Do we need 1 more? Or more than 5? Like that would give us 5. Do we need more than 5? How many did we have last year? 5 or 7? I feel like we had 5.
I just found an email that said 5.
What do we think about who we would want to bring into that? And if we end up getting more than 3 of last year's winners, oh well, right? So if we have 3 previous winners and the mayor, it still seems like we need potentially somebody with some level of preservation expertise or knowledge, just to help evaluate projects that are of that type, right? To give credibility to that part of the evaluation process. So I don't know if we just want to tag Charlotte in again on that. She was sort of that representative last year. Obviously, she's a committee member. And or because it is a mashup between the 2 committees, do we just want to have somebody from each of the 2 committees on there as a representative of the committee? I mean, that also does kind of make sense. But then last year we had issues with like whether having staff on the committee was okay or not, right? Some dude just came and like laid down in front of my office in my gravel. Like, just-
I'm gonna hop off here so that I can give the stack of stuff to John.
Okay.
But I'll start thinking about jury members.
Okay, I mean,
And
maybe
such.
it's just that yeah, go ahead, bye, Maddie. Maybe we just grab, non-staff, 1 person off of the commission and 1 person off the committee, and that rounds out our thing. 3 previous winners, the mayor, and 1 person representing each committee. And I nominate Charlotte because she has building chops.
Yeah, I think we need that technical knowledge too.
Yeah,
We could also fund Shannon Sardell to
Yeah.
be on it. She could be a paid representative from potentially, I mean, depending how much time it takes, but she's our consultant on the Historic Commission for kind of technical expertise.
mhm.
And we have a rolling contract with her with some funds available in it, so we could potentially use a couple hours.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte or Shannon is great, and it adds some like outside credibility, right?
Yeah,
So would she be in addition to a committee member, do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the more technical knowledge, kind of, the better.
Yeah,
She can be the outside big picture. And then Charlotte also has like the inside local community experience and
mhm. Yeah. And then who from the museum committee do we want to tag in? Stacy.
I think Patty would be really good.
Yeah, she would. She'd enjoy that too. Okay, I mean, we'll obviously have to ask them. Stick them in there. All right, I like it.
So should we also ask people who were on the committee last time?
I don't know. So we had Steve Moe and Charlotte and what was his name? Jonathan? No. What's his last name? Why is his
Oh,
name?
Johannes?
Johannes. Yeah, Johannes. And the mayor and Maddie. Were those our 5 last year? I think it was. So, I mean, we had critique about having or challenges a little bit with having city staff as part of the jury last year. So I think we should probably, you know, not have Maddie on the jury this year. And
Mhm.
I don't know how a city councilor is perceived in that space, but you know, maybe just having one member of each committee is a better fit.
Yeah. We also had Allison Fisher Olson listed. She wasn't available last time. Is she from the Lane County History Museum?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
also agent. Yeah, we could reach back out. to her. Keeping eyes on what's going on that front of my office. So she gives a little bit of a broader museum perspective, which is interesting. And that's kind of cool because it gives us an outside technical consultant basically for each of the committees, right? Like somebody kind of beyond,
Yeah,
like a committee member, and then somebody from beyond the committee that sort of still like aligns with those 2 topic areas, I guess. Does that make sense? Yeah, I like that group. Okay.
so is there a cap on how many people? Because if
I
we
mean, I
did,
think no more than this. I mean, if we end up with, I don't know, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially we're at 8, maybe even up to 10 if we got more of the previous winners on there.
yeah. I was also wondering about the mayor. I mean, there's benefits to him being included, but for similar reasons to not having staff or city councilors involved.
Well, the award is presented by the mayor. It is a mayor
Right.
award, right?
And
We
last
do the
time, wasn't it, I wasn't a part of the jury, but wasn't it confusing? I thought that maybe he was there, but was he on the jury or was he just there to witness what the jury said, like what his role was on the jury?
Right. I mean, basically what it is that the jury makes a recommendation to the mayor. And the
Right.
mayor has the final decision, right?
So if the mayor can be in that conversation influencing people's recommendations.
Yeah, I guess it depends how you see it. I feel like having the mayor there to hear the conversation, to
Yeah.
understand what people want or think one is, you know, valid or more, you know, worthy or whatever than the other, and like hearing the technical expertise kind of commentary on something or whatever versus just like having to go blindsided into reviewing a recommendation. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, what you just said about the perception of swaying the jury or something, like I don't even know. I'm like very much a like rose-colored glasses optimist, and I never thought those things.
No, I agree. I think it's more beneficial to have him there, but I think there was just confusion about what the role was. Like, should he be participating in the discussion and like, or should he be there just to listen? Or I think we just needed to find clearly whether he's an active participant on the jury or is he there to listen and observe.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we need to just, yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking about. We need to be clear in this email that we're sending to the jurors too, that basically they are making this recommendation, you know, that they're not making the
Yeah.
final selection, yeah. So, right, so maybe the mayor also attends, but isn't. query member, right? That's what you're basically saying.
Mhm.
So that would put us at, in this situation, that's 7 now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to 9, depending how many previous winners decided to participate. I mean, we could just reach out to selected previous winners instead of all of them, but I don't know if that's weird too. Yeah. I mean, it'll be a good discussion, I guess, if there's more people. And I like the idea of involving the community in this process, you know, versus it just feeling so insulated. But do you think that's too many people? That's assuming they can all do it too.
Right, I'm sure they won't be able to. And then the other question would be like, who the point of contact is. I guess we just go off the applications from last time. That who we're inviting to be on the committee, because like with Talking Stones, there was like 3 people there accepting the award and.
Yeah, I mean, we could just ask them for like, you know, please send, you know, is there one
One.
person that would be willing to participate on the jury from your group?
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't think it's too many. I think it's fun. It's fun to engage the community in their situation.
Even better if we can get them there in person instead of Zoom, right?
I think we need to like say that it's going to be an in-person convening. Like, it was very awkward last year having basically only the mayor showed up in person, nobody else showed up in person, and it was not a very fruitful discussion. Like, or it was a difficult discussion because like Steve never knew what was going on because it was like he couldn't hear, or you know, and like it just was very difficult to just logistically have a useful conversation. And to look at all of the applications and everything. So, okay.
Where are we gonna have it? It's gonna be down in your office again, you think? I won't include that location, but I could say roughly in
It'll be in
Springfield.
downtown Springfield. It'll
Downtown
probably be
Springfield.
either somewhere at the city or at the museum or at my
Okay.
office. Right.
And this email, you want this email to go out like ASAP? What the
I
thought
mean,
is.
pretty soon. It probably should, right? Because it's so soon that we need to. Well, I mean, I guess the jury is convening. If we say late June, early July, and I don't think we should put a specific date on it yet. I should
Mhm.
just say, are you available late June, early July? You know, if somebody's planning a 2-week vacation, we can know that now, and then, you know.
Mhm.
Speaking
Or
of that, I am gone the last week of June.
Yeah, June is hard for me too. That's why I was starting to push it to early July. Yeah, so I mean, we could try to throw together an actual doodle poll also and put it in there, but that feels pretty, there's almost a little premature. Like, if we get their interest and
Yeah.
they're generally available, then we can, you know, and ask if there are any limitations on their availability, then we could make a doodle poll that kind of reflects that, right?
Right.
Great. So once we get this email sent out, then we could probably start tackling the jury evaluation criteria. I mean, we can be doing it concurrently, just I don't have the bandwidth to even think about it right now. So that the jury has some very particular metrics, you know, to use. And we had started that draft. We had started, like, we had the, you know, basic like 3 kind of questions that were the big metrics, but then we were also going to try to create, like, what does that mean? So, okay, so like, for example, in order to get a 5 versus a 1, you know, what is the actual like measurable thing we're looking for, you know, in each of these categories? which was borrowing from this other example I'm pulling up from the mayor's art show. Where for each of their things, then they had a description of what each of those scores actually means, right? So basically, we have 2 awards, each of them, I think we have 3 or 4 kind of bullet points of like the criteria, and we need to fill in the matrix of what each score for each of those things means to help give clarity to the jurors as they try to assign points to them. So that's an upcoming task. I don't know if anyone feels excited about working on that. Anyone? We can also visit it at the next meeting once we kind of get this initial press stuff pushed out. I feel like that can happen. Sorry. Anywho, okay, so then the next steps in terms of press releases, I was gonna check and see, I don't know if there was actually a news update anywhere on the city's homepage. And then this was the tentative schedule I had for other email notifications. They can't be too often. They won't let us do them too often. But basically having one 2 weeks in, so on next Thursday, reminding people, and then another one that's like the day before is like a final call, but then probably realistically it'll have an extension in it. And then all the others are about like the actual, you know, awards, celebrations and stuff. And then Tom, do you know, I know you've submitted it. I just don't trust the system. Do you feel like we're really good to go on the 5th? Like for Sherzies, can we just like keep like making sure that we don't?
So yeah, I had reached out to AJ in April for confirmation, and the calendar currently shows that it's pending approval. I don't imagine there's much to like approve for that. Just us needing to get up there and, you know, kind of formally tee it up to the council. So
The challenge, the reason I'm gun shy is that last year we just got bumped over and over and over and over and over in the process of not the actual awards celebration thing, but just in terms of even getting up in front of council to try to get the awards approved to be a thing. And so I'm just very gun shy that like they're gonna be like, oh no, we have all the stuff we had skipped over the summer and now we need to deal with it. We're gonna bump this, you know, and then it's gonna mess up
right.
our whole thing.
Yeah. So currently for that regular session, September 5th, there are 2 items and ours is one of them. So it's the criminal code update first reading that shows only 10 minutes, and then our heritage awards for 15 minutes, and it says pending approval. So I will reach out to AJ because in April she had said they would discuss it at one of their leadership meetings or council leadership meetings or something, and I didn't get any word back at that time. So I will reach out and hopefully get 100% confirmation that it can stay there.
Good. All right, and with that, it is 12:01. I think we should break. We'll send this out through Tom so that we have our little task assignments here, but I'm gonna turn all of these no longer red. All right, and then should we try to meet again next week, probably? Is this a good time for everyone? Wednesday at 11?
It's good for me.
Good for me too.
I have another meeting. Sorry.
It's okay. Is there another 11 o'clock that works well for people?
Tuesday works for me.
That'd be good for me.
Tuesday's
Yep.
I can do Tuesday.
At 11. I'll schedule that.
But- Right. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. We will get it done.
Thanks, Jenna.
It
Awesome.
does that.
Yep.
Have a good lunch.
Bye, everyone.